welcome to the Algorithm Artisans channel, where we are team 1 on the capstone chart and number 1 in your heart. In today's video, we will introduce you to our team, run you through our client's problem, and show you what we developed to solve it. I will now be introducing you to the team. From left to right, we have Leadila Mutsosi, who is our technical member, Alex van den Berghout, who is our technical lead, Linda Kambulu, who is our team lead, Jared Sunith, who is our documentation lead, and Mahlati Pule, who is our documentation member as well. Now, who is our client? Our client is a tech startup company called Cirrus Bridge, founded by the shared vision of two brothers, Patrick and Mikhail Edwards. They founded an IT consulting company that turns problems brought forward by clients into fully fledged solutions. First, they begin with ideation, then analysis, followed through with design and development, and then lastly, hosting, marketing, and maintenance. At Cirrus Bridge, they believe in being lifelong partners with their clients, which is why they go the full mile with their solution. Now, intro to their problem. Their problem is that a lot of administrative tasks were being handled manually and through third-party software. So there was nowhere the owner could actually see aggregated data of how well Cirrus Bridge and its employees are performing. Jira, which is one of the third-party softwares, is used to track project progress and ticket management. So the owner would have to hop onto Jira to see individually how each project is doing and its progress, which proved to be quite a tedious task for them, considering Cirrus Bridge is a growing company. They also needed to keep track of Toggle, which is where employees would keep track of how many hours they spent working on a particular project and how much money they are actually making on that particular project. They also needed to focus on Paymo, which is their invoicing system to clients and where clients actually receive payment. Managing all three of these softwares just proved to be quite tedious for the owner because it was just a lot. They were also unable to monitor employee performance as well because there was no way to aggregate data from two different external software solutions. As well as employees were also unable to log in leave requests as this was a manual process. So they'd have to send a WhatsApp message and the owner would then have to go and check, does the employee have enough leave days, etc., which proved to just be tedious and wasted a lot of time for the owner, whereas they could have been doing something productive. Now, this is where we come in and where we have built the Cirrus Bridge employee and client management system. I will run you through that now. So, I've currently logged in as an owner. Now, the owner has the overall view of the entire system. So, the owner can now create calendar events. Anything, name it. What they do is they just enter the calendar item name, a description, they select a location, a category, a start time and an end time, the desired date, and also the people they would like to invite for this particular event. Now, if you are invited to an event, you will then receive an email notifying you that you have been invited to this particular calendar event. This could be a meeting, it could just be a daily stand-up, or it could just be a client introduction, and etc. Now, this dashboard gives the owner the overall view, a quick and easy view of what exactly is happening. Such as today, you can see that the owner is quite busy today. Then also it gives them an overall view of this week, which is including tomorrow's things. And then just an overall of this month, what exactly is happening this month. Then we also have a month view, calendar view, where blue dots is then displayed if there are events happening for that particular day. They're also able to edit the calendar item and they're also able to delete. Now, they're also able to receive notifications all throughout the system, whether a performance review has been created or maybe a client review has also been created if client payment has been received or if an employee has submitted a leave request. They're also able to interact with the AI bot through their navigation bar on the top. They'd also just be able to create tasks. These are just short little things that the owner wants to remember to do. And then once they've done it, they just tick it, and then they can easily just delete their tasks. They're also able to upload, they're also able to see their own profile, such as their name, last name, their own profile picture, example, and their phone number. Now, this is the overall dashboard, which is what the owner sees initially when they log in. Now this dashboard shows you the open tickets, which is what is pulled from our third-party software called Jira. Now, they're able to see that overall there are 14 open tickets that have not been closed. They're able to see how many tickets have been closed today, meaning how productive have our employees been today. They're able to see system bugs. Now, these can be bugs either reported by the owner, project manager, and employee, and also bugs reported by the client on the system that Cirrus Bridge has built for them. They're also able to see upcoming deadlines and AI insights. They're able to see this bar chart that just displays how many tickets were completed this week by each employee, some upcoming deadlines, whether it's a calendar event or a project due date. They're able to see how many tickets are actually associated per project and also the total number of employees that they have. Now we go over to the projects. So firstly, creating a project, all they just need to do is click on this addition button, to which a create project modal will then display. They can then enter details of this project, and now they can select a client. The client has to be created on our system first before they can create, and then they can link a project from Jira. The project has to exist from Jira first before it can be created on our system. Same with Toggle, it has to be created on Toggle before it is on our system. Then they can select the project type it belongs to. Then they can also select a status, whether it is active, pending, on hold, or it hasn't started yet. They can give a short description of what the project entails so that when the owner is interested to see what exactly is happening, they can just look at this quick little summary, a start date and a potential deadline. They can also link it to an estimate, and an estimate is basically an invoice which is sent to the customer, which basically displays how much money does this project actually cost. They can also assign employees to work on this particular project, and then they can just easily create. They also have access to this overview dashboard where they can see how many open tickets are there, how many closed tickets are there, how many tickets are unassigned, and the average ticket resolution, which basically how long does it take on average to resolve a ticket. They can also see how many tickets each employee is sitting on, and also just a little project deadline calendar view, and a project ticket status as well to see how many are still in to do, in progress, done, backlog, or closed. They also have a project list that they're able to see, which they're able to search. They can also filter via statuses, clients, or resets as well. Then they're also able to expand on the project view, where they're able to see exactly what is happening with this project, and they're also able to see the different folders associated with each project, and the different graphs and information, the different employees, where they're also able to remove and assign more employees. They're also able to see the time entries. These time entries are created on the third-party software known as Toggle, where the employees are able to log how much time they actually spent on this particular project. They can also see the different tickets associated with each project and its project specificness, to which they can expand as well. But obviously they can't edit this information because this is information pulled from Jira. They're also able to filter this table according to what exactly they'd like to see. And they're also able to just see the time entries, which this is all data pulled from our third-party software, again, Toggle. Then they're able to just see the overall tickets to all the projects necessarily. So that's why this table is a bit long and why some pagination was also included. They're also able to see the time entries, which are all, this is all data pulled by the third-party software, third-party software being Toggle. Then they're able to see project requests. So these are requests sent through by clients on their portal side, where if they were happy with the first project that we have produced for them and they'd like to have another project with us, then they're able to just send in a request and then submit their request. Now we have employees. So an owner is able to create an employee that they've just recently hired. Then they're also able to select the date that the employee was also hired. As you can see, an employee cannot be hired in the future. Then they're able just to see like a summary through these information boxes, such as total employees, how many assigned tickets are there, how many unassigned tickets are there, who is on leave today, and if they are active review rounds. So this is also just an overall summary, and then these are also just a performance review summary. To see this average score is basically just all of the average numbers that the employees have ranked themselves. They're also able to expand this and download a report and actually see how exactly the employee rated themselves, and see exactly where does that average score come from. There's also an employee list where they can see the employee, their position, assigned projects, how many tickets they resolved, and how many hours they have logged. They're also able to see an in-depth view exactly on who is Alex van Der. Who is Alex? They can see this week's tickets, whether they've filled in any performance reviews, how many hours they've spent on billable and non-billable hours, and their different leave requests. They can see that, oh, I rejected a family responsibility leave and I approved this caught chickenpox sick leave. They're also able to see the leave requests, performance reviews, the tickets that is associated with this particular employee, and the time entrance that is associated with Alex specifically. Now they're also able to see the different performance reviews and the average rating each employee has scored themselves, and also generate a performance review report. Now with the recent performance reviews, they're able to see the average scores and when these were completed. Now, the owner reserves the right to create a new performance review round. When a performance review round is created, they have to select a start date and an end date and just a performance review round name. Within this performance review round, it will be made available to all the employees, and all of the questions that are active will then be displayed in that performance review round. So now, the owner can also create a performance review question where they're able to write their question. They can decide whether it has to be text or numerical, and who exactly is allowed to review this question. Is it the employee? Is it the client? Or is it both? They're also able to just search questions and also just reset that filter. Then they're also able to see an overall leave request view where they're able to see, which employees have submitted leave requests, have they approved it? They can reject or approve. And they're also able to see details on, I approved this leave request because there was their wedding anniversary celebration. Then they also have clients where they can create a client. Now a client has to exist on Paymo and Toggle first. And then they're able to also select the client industry. Now, as a client is created, they have to create a client contact information. This client contact basically just speaks to who is my first point of reference that I'm communicating with from this client. So you can see now title 6, etc., etc. And then this is just their overall dashboard where they can see how many clients they've had in this past few months, the recent estimates, the recent invoices, and recent payments that the clients have made through Paymo. Now, this is an average rating from our clients. This is just them rating how well we've worked on their project or how well they feel as though we've worked with them. There's also an invoice status where you can see that there's only one invoice that has been sent. Then there's also just a list of clients to which we can just see a summarized view of our clients. And then when you click expand, you can see that, so there's a total build, how many projects we've had with them, whether there's outstanding invoices, AI insights on the client, if there's some client information, who is their client contact. If we just need to schedule a meeting with them, we'll just give them a quick call. And then just this pie chart. And then the different projects that the client has, the recent invoices and payments that the client has made. We're also able to see the estimates that we've sent them. As you can see, the estimate does actually specify whether how much this project costs. And then we can also see a breakdown of why and how did we get to this total number. Then we can also see VAT over there, and etc. We can also download this, and then we're also able to see estimates, the different estimates that we have sent to all of the different clients. As you can see, which one has been accepted. Clients are allowed to accept estimates from their side. And then we also have billable items. So then the billable items are basically just what exactly are we charging the client for. So we can easily create, first we need to create a category, whether this is documentation, services, or licensing operational cost. Then we have to assign a billable item type, then a billable item name, item description, price, and when is this going to be effective. All billable items are only effective from today's date. Then we also have our invoices as well. We also have the feedback form of our clients where we can actually see how do clients actually feel about our performance. Then we can also see here where we can actually create the performance reviews questions specifically for clients as well. Then we just also can create industries in case we have a new client industry where maybe it's education or architecture, e-commerce as well. And then we have folder management, which is basically just for projects really. This allows our owner to just create a folder and select which folder this particular project is for, and also just select a category of the project. They're also now able to reset the filters. If there were files here, then we would have been able to use these filters. They were also able to create categories and etc. Now, we also have backups. So firstly, the owner would then have to create a backup file and then create, and then maybe the owner would like to just delete something and see what happens. If they delete it, they're able to restore whatever was saved. Then we also have an audit log. This is just for the owner to see what exactly is happening, what actions are being taken on the system, and the owner can see everybody's actions ranging from project manager, employee, and clients. This is where the owner can see the reported bugs. Each bug you can see whether it was reported by the owner themselves, either a client or even maybe an employee as well. Then they're able to expand and see details on this particular bug. Then they also have access to setting details. So where they're able to basically change their company info if they'd like to change their slogan, their telephone number, or just their email address, just their details as well, because all of this information is accessible to the clients. They're also able to see the different users as well who are on their system. And also if they would like to create a user, they'd first have to select a role, whether it be owner, project manager, employee, or client, to which an invite code will then be sent to them. And then they're able to also select when exactly this invite code will expire. Then we have our integrations tab, which is basically where the owner can manage integrations between Jira, Toggle, and Paymo. Then the different project types that we have, this is where an owner is able to also create a project type where they can just create a name and they can create or delete it. Then we also have our help page where if the owner doesn't know how exactly to report a bug or how to edit account details, these are just the training videos and this is where the owner can find such. Then the owner can also report a bug themselves or also just see bugs that they've reported. So all they need to do is click the addition button and then fill in. I will now show you from a project manager point of view. So they just log in. Then you can see they have a project manager dashboard. The project manager has notifications as well. They have access to the AI assistant. Project manager can also then create goals for themselves that they would like to achieve on a day-to-day basis. So we can just see if we say testing. They can just pick a category, whether it is a Jira or a Toggle ticket. How many Jira tickets are you aiming to complete? Maybe 6. Then if it's a Toggle, it's going to ask how many hours are you aiming to log today. Then it's going to say start date. Then they can also select an end date and then they can just create. And then they're able to see, oh, okay, I haven't logged in any hours yet. So all they just need to do is log on to Toggle, then start logging in hours, and then they'll be able to see their progress. Then they also have tasks as well that they can complete, and they also have access to updating their profile and their role as well up over there, as seen. Now, this is also just a similar view to what the owner can see, but this particular view is only project manager specific and only refers to projects the owner is responsible for, the project manager is responsible for. Right? Sorry, just logging in again. And then we also have files where the owner can then just see the different files that they like to create if it is an association with a particular project. So they can just create a different file. Let's just say testing. And let's just say this file is associated with the student portal. Then the category is probably for development. Then they'll be able to successfully create a file. Then they also have the same access to the help center as well. And they're also able to report a bug. So if they came across a bug and are like, I need to report this before I forget to let them know, the bug will then display. And then I will now log in as an employee. So the employee just has the overall dashboard, and the employee, everything related to the employee is employee specific. So with this particular employee, this is Bob. Bob has no notifications. Bob can also access the AI assistant. Bob can create goals, tasks, as well as see their own profile. Now they can see how many active projects they have, tickets that are due, incomplete reviews, and the amount of hours that they've logged in, right? And they can also see whether they've worked, how many billable hours they've worked on, how many non-billable hours. This week's event, either it could be a meeting with the owner and project manager, or maybe just a due date. And they're also able to see how many active projects they are participating in. They're also able to just see a summarized view of overdue tickets, and the tickets overview, which is their ticket status, and also just their leave request. They're able to see a summarized view of, oh, okay, I took this leave, how many hours, etc., and then their leave balances as well. Then they're also able to see the different performance reviews that they have already participated in, or the performance reviews rounds that the owner has created. They're also able to expand and see exactly how did they answer, and they're also able to see manager comments, but you can see this manager decided not to leave comments. So the manager is probably happy with what the employee has mentioned. Then they're also able to create their own performance review, their own leave request. They're also able to withdraw or update, such as withdrawal. Then they're also able to see that, like, oh, okay. And this is their goals. They're able to create goals, and as you remember correctly, they can set how many tickets they want, so how many toggle goals they want, etc. We can also just testing just to see on a bigger scale. Let's say we're targeting 4, and we want to do this 4 days over the course of 2 days. Then they're able to see, only 1 day left for this particular goal. Then we have the employee AI assistant, where they're also able to ask the AI assistant just details on their projects. Then there's also files that they can also create as well, or access. And they're also able to access files here, the different folders. And then they're able to see the different subfolders that exist within this particular folder. And they're also able to upload their own files. If maybe they just want to upload a memo, for example, then the preview will display over here. Then they can also decide whether they want it to be private, and maybe it can only be viewed by their fellow employees, or if it can be password restricted, they can decide and create their own password, and then we can just cancel. Then they also have access to the help center, the help page, where they're also able to see how to report a bug, how to create a goal, how to create a JIRA goal. And then they also have access to reporting a bug. Clearly this particular employee hasn't reported a bug, but yes, then we can log out. And then we will now enter into the client dashboard. Now this is the client, and this is what the client can see. Now the client can also see notifications. They can also access the AI chatbot, which they can also just ask questions on different projects that we have with them. Then we also have, they can see that the total projects that they've had with us, how much we've built them. They can see details on them. They can also see their colleagues as well, and scheduled events. So these are basically just events such as when their project is due, if we have any meetings, if they have meetings with the owner as well. And then, they can see the projects that they're associated with, the different feedback forms. So with the feedback form, they can fill it in and then just select next. Just want to show you the different functionalities of this particular. They can also rate with numerically, maybe 3 here, 6 there, 10 there, 10 there. Then finally they're able to then submit, and then they know that they've created a performance review, and then they can see the average score that they've rated us. And they're also able to see projects that they have with us, existing projects, and they're able to see the details. How many hours did we log in per week as well? So they're able to see, They did log in a lot of hours, but now performance has dwindled, which is also information they're able to bring up. They're also able to see the different assigned employees, as well as the different time entries relating to that particular project, which these are details pulled through from Toggle. They're also able to request a new project. If they have an idea of a project that they want, then they can just fill in this modal. They're also able to request a meeting with the owner, and then also select a time and a date to see if the owner is available. Then they're also able to just see the different project request details, and whether this need for a mobile app they're able to revoke, or they're able to also set another meeting as well. And they're also able to see their own personal financials, where they're able to see if they accepted the invoice. They're able to see invoices created on the project manager's point of view. Then they also have access to the help center, where they see help videos specific to the client as well. Then they're also able to report a bug. A bug can be on either the system that they're using to interact with us, or on the system that we have created for them. Thank you so much for your time. I really hope you guys enjoy the system. Thank you.